Coming up on this episode of the IoT Inc. Business Show.
In this episode of the IoT Business Show, I narrate the introduction chapter of my book, IoT Inc., How Your Company Can Use the Internet of Things to Win in the Outcome Economy.
All this and more on this episode of the IoT Inc. Business Show. The people, the business, and the technology of the next generation internet. This is the IoT Inc. Business Show. And now, here's your host, Bruce Sinclair.
Hello and welcome to the IoT Inc. Business Show. This show is made possible by sales of my book, IoT Inc., published by McGraw-Hill, and the IoT Inc. Certified IoT Professional, or ICIP, online training and certification program. Become a certified IoT professional by completing the program's 3 courses: ICIP Technology, ICIP Business, and ICIP Strategy and Digital Transformation. Details of which can be found at www.iot-inc.com. That's www.iot-inc.com.
My book, IoT Inc., has 16 chapters plus a preface, the introduction chapter I read here, and a conclusion chapter. If you want an overview of the 16 chapters, listen to the bonus episode 2 back if you haven't already. And with that, I bring you the introduction chapter to IoT Inc. Introduction. What's the deal with IoT? The 5 of us, maybe 6, listened intently, and one took notes as Pat Dronsky of Dronsky Pet Control was holding court. He gestured to the floor of the small utility trailer we were in, explaining that mice traveled along walls. And except for in garbage areas, he positioned his bait traps on the perimeter of the first floor of each hospital building at University Hospital, which was his client. Pat's wife, Nicole, was a nurse there since the hospital opened 30 years earlier. Since then, it had grown from a single building into a sprawling complex, and in the process became Dronsky's biggest account. Building a better mousetrap. Today, Pat uses a product that hasn't fundamentally changed in thousands of years. Bait the trap with tasty food, wait for it, and close the door behind, trapping the animal inside. Pretty simple and pretty effective, but we had a better way. We were literally building a better mousetrap with the Internet of Things. Pat's office was parked behind his apartment building on Staten Island, New York. Hurricane Sandy had flooded his brick-and-mortar office a couple years earlier, so he set up camp closer to home, and he grew to like it that way. Generally, it was plenty big enough for him, his son, and his dog. But today, it was a little bit cramped, as our entire product marketing team squeezed in to hear what Pat had to say. Acme Pest, my client, was in the early stages of building its IoT product, and we were visiting end users like Dronsky to validate our initial ideas. Besides me, the team included Acme's head of sales, its regional manager, and Jeremy and Jordan, the grandsons of Acme's Pest's founder, who are now running the show. Our team, along with Pat and his not-so-bright French bulldog Rocky, and the topic made for one of my most memorable product validation meetings to date, and I've been doing them for over 20 years. This was day 2 of a 5-day road trip, traveling together in a van visiting 2 prospects a day to validate our IoT mousetrap. I'll visit a couple other validation meetings later in the book. Acme Pest was founded 50 years earlier by a Hungarian chemist who discovered that the wallpaper paste he invented had a propensity of sticking to any mouse that came by. Like any good entrepreneur, he saw the opportunity and pivoted, moving his family and business to the Bronx where his company still stands. His son grew the business tremendously by expanding into commercial pest control. His grandsons, Jeremy and Jordan, who had read about IoT, were convinced that it was the way forward, to put their own mark on the business and to move their company into the digital age. As part of their homework, they attended Internet of Things World, where they were my students in a workshop. After liking what they learned, they hired me to advise Acme Pest on how to best leverage IoT for their business and new product line. Their distribution chain includes big pest control distributors, which sell their traps to pest control companies, like Dronsky's Pest Control, which sell their services to clients, such as hospitals. IoT is going to turn the pest control industry upside down, and along with it, all the businesses within each layer of its distribution network. Later in this book, I'll discuss how IoT enables ecosystems and the profound effect that they will have on Acme's industry, competition, and products. The Silicon Valley is coming. Like the pest control industry, your business, your channel, and your industry are also going to experience major changes. Your company may be headquartered thousands of miles away from where I live in the Silicon Valley, but whether you like it or not, the Silicon Valley, with its data-driven culture, is coming to you. Will the Internet of Things affect you? As the Internet extends its reach into physical objects and becomes the Internet of Things, it will rewire every industry in its path. What's considered a futuristic product today will soon become commonplace. IoT will become an integral part of every enterprise and every consumer, commercial, industrial, and infrastructure product. The Internet of Things will be as transformative to business as the Internet was, and if you stop and look, we're already witnessing the beginning of these changes all around us. Consumer IoT. Our homes have gone from dumb to automated to smart, blending together security, energy management, and convenience. Inside, they're being furnished with connected products, from toothbrushes to appliances to beds. On our bodies, we wear a new category of IoT products, quantifying ourselves and our environment. And our cars are becoming more autonomous and better drivers than we are, an achievement estimated to eventually save 30,000 lives per year in the United States alone. Commercial IoT. Commercial industries such as transportation are improving fleet management with telematics. In healthcare, IoT is augmenting the knowledge and skills of our doctors and empowering their patients with the information they need to manage or prevent disease. And insurance is measuring human behavior and predicting machine behavior to better assess the costs of risk. Everywhere you look, equipment is being instrumented to relay data to its owners to improve their business and customer relationships. Industrial IoT. Industry is undergoing its next revolution. The Internet of Things enables manufacturing to produce better products, crank out more cars, more machines, and more chemicals for a lower cost. The oil and gas industries analyze sensor data to more efficiently extract, process, and deliver their products. Mining is increasing yield and safety with autonomous equipment that operates 24 hours a day. And agriculture is using yield modeling augmented by machine learning to increase the output by using data from crop sensors and environmental data services found on the Internet. Infrastructure IoT. Infrastructure is becoming smarter, starting with smart cities connecting their assets with their inhabitants and the vehicles in which they're transported. Utilities are distributing electricity more efficiently and more reliably, with mathematical models simulating smart power stations, connected to smart grids, connected to smart meters in our smart homes that house our smart appliances inside. Who's this book for? This book is for managers who work for brands and manufacturers that make things, physical products sold to businesses or consumers. It's for managers and enterprises looking to bring the Internet of Things into their organizations to improve their competitiveness. It's for entrepreneurs and their startup investors building a better mousetrap or inventing something completely new. It's also for those who work for vendors and service providers who need to understand IoT to effectively advise and work with their business clients. Every IoT initiative and every company I've worked with starts with someone raising their hand and offering to look into IoT further. This hand can come from any part of the organization. Sometimes the IoT initiative is started by business, sometimes it's started by engineering. This book is for those who raise their hand first, for business managers planning their company's strategy, for product managers and engineers wanting to make better products, and for sales and marketing people who recognize that IoT tech can establish more meaningful business relationship with their customers. If you've already started your IoT journey, this book will be a valuable resource no matter how far you've already traveled. Why you need to read it. IoT's Killer App. The Internet of Things is happening with or without you, and not because it's a cool technology. Customers don't care about the tech at all. IoT is happening because of what it enables. The Internet of Things Killer App is outcomes, and it's outcomes that customers ultimately want. They don't even care about products. What they care about is what products can do for them. Product fetishes aside, most consumers don't want to own cars. They want to get from one place to another, fast and safe. This has led to driving-as-a-service businesses like Uber and sharing economy businesses like Zipcar, both of which will eventually use IoT-powered driverless cars. It's no different in business. Hospitals don't want to own surgical instruments. They want to perform surgeries safely and economically, and in the shortest amount of time. Mining companies don't want to own heavy equipment. They want to extract natural resources from the earth for the least amount of cost. Utility companies don't want the capital expenditure headaches of smart grids. They want to deliver electricity to their customers in a reliable and efficient way. And people don't want to own mousetraps, and certainly not what's inside. They want a pest-free environment. The outcome economy is here. While operating behind the scenes, the Internet of Things is enabling two major trends that are shifting business from a product and service-based economy to an outcome economy. Over time, products will be orchestrated to work together to jointly deliver outcomes that the customers desire. In parallel, the business model of the seller will align to match the business model of the buyer. These two trends are brought together technically by the IoT platform. The IoT ecosystem monetizes all the technology involved by selling outcomes. Managers need to read this book to learn how IoT-enabled outcomes will change their industry, business, and relationship with their customers. More importantly, they will learn how to use the Internet of Things in their products and services to create incremental value, and about the business models used in IoT to monetize that value for profit. Timing is everything. The Internet of Things is coming fast and isn't waiting for anyone. The challenge is to predict when it will arrive in your industry and when you should release your first IoT product. Timing is everything, and IoT is no exception. In fact, it's even more consequential. Why? Because IoT years are like dog years, and being even a little bit late to this party can have devastating Kodak-like consequences. Let me explain. IoT enables you to perfect your product faster. Today, with traditional physical products, understanding what your customers want require customer visits that take time and resources. Then, realizing those needs into your product take even longer. The turnaround time to release a new manufactured product can take up to a year. IoT dramatically shortens the release process. It provides a 24/7 window into your customer's business, clearly telling you what they do with your product, how they use your product, and more importantly, how they make money with your product. This, coupled with IoT's ability to update your product remotely with software, enables IoT companies to release new versions of their products at least 7 times faster than traditional companies. That's my unscientific calculation. So having a competitor hit the market with an IoT product 1 year before yours gives the competitor the advantage of a 7-year head start. Traditional companies will be left behind. Enterprises that fail to enter the market at the right time with an IoT offering will face strong headwinds, and stragglers won't be able to catch up, making their offering obsolete. But there's more here than just a foot race. IoT changes how companies compete and in the process changes the playing field in ways that are not obvious today. It can shift boundaries of competition, disintermediate the weak, subsume conventional product categories, and change business models into the most important feature of all. Sound far-fetched? Imagine the difference in market intelligence between Uber and the traditional yellow cab company. Perhaps 10 times? 100 times? That's the leverage to be had from getting out first with an IoT product. The takeaway. After reading this book, managers will be able to develop their IoT strategy and produce their company's IoT business plan. Book overview. This book is organized into 3 parts. Part 1 explains the fundamentals of creating and monetizing IoT value. Part 2 helps the reader develop and then execute their IoT strategy. And Part 3 dives into IoT technology. But the tech is never that far away. The challenge of explaining IoT comes from the breadth and depth of not only its technology, but in this case, the different applications of its technology in business. But a point of view must be taken, and the one I choose for this book is the buy and sell perspective. That is, buy IoT technology, integrate it into your product, and then sell it to your customers. This product can be a discrete product, such as consumer goods, commercial equipment, or industrial machinery, or it can as easily be a system or environment, such as telematics or smart cities. If that isn't broad enough, the lessons learned in this book are also applicable to the buy and use perspective. That is, buy an IoT product, integrate it into your operations, and then use it within your company. Part 1. Part 1 starts by defining IoT. It digs down a layer below today's pop narrative to describe the tech that we're dealing with. More than that, it views the technical components of IoT from a value perspective. This business view of technology will be a cornerstone for the rest of the book. Then, without fluff or fanfare, the book gets into the core of business: value generation and monetization. It answers the questions: in what ways can we use IoT to create incremental value, and what are the classes of business models that we can choose from to make money? IoT tech and the business models to monetize it are intrinsically linked. You will discover that as the technology advances, so too will the business model, increasing in strategic importance until it becomes the IoT product's most strategic feature. One of the most profound benefits of using IoT properly is the unprecedented view we get into our customers' business. We will discuss how we can then translate that into a deeper and more profitable relationship for both parties involved. Part 2. Part 2 establishes an IoT lens through which to look at your customers, your industry, and your competition to develop your business strategy. Leveraging IoT's unique data capabilities to focus on outcomes rather than products and services will transform your industry and the competitive space. With this background, the book dissects the outcome economy, what it is, how to become part of it, and why it will become important to your business. To effectively build, sell, and support an IoT product, the enterprise must be data-driven, the ethos of the Silicon Valley. Internet of Things companies will use data to develop and sell products more efficiently, support customers more effectively, and partner more effectively. This book describes how to become an IoT company on a department-by-department basis. First and foremost, software development and data science must be spliced into every traditional company's DNA to best leverage its institutional and domain knowledge in the future. Next, the book develops the concept of value modeling, a unique approach to qualify and then quantify an IoT product's value proposition. This leads directly to a top-down methodology to define the requirements of your IoT product. IoT is unique in that we can consider more than just the customer's requirements. Part 2 finishes with advice on how to start your new IoT initiative. Although new theory is presented in this book, all the concepts have been battle-tested, practiced in the real world by my clients in developing their IoT businesses and product lines. Part 3. Part 3 demands that you put on your gumboots and wade into the bits of IoT tech in all its grandeur. And it covers it all: software, hardware, networking, data, analytics, and security. Not deep enough to implement it, but certainly deep enough to enable you to have meaningful discussions with your engineering team. This comes from the confidence gained from knowing how IoT works, and more importantly, understanding the benefits it can bring to your business and your customers. Each industry is going to transition to the outcome economy at its own pace. Your job, since you raised your hand, is to plan your IoT business and propose when the time is right to begin. This starts with the fundamentals, so let's get to it. Chapter 1 starts off by dissecting IoT tech from a value perspective. Let's go.
You have been listening to the IoT Inc. Business Show.